Hey, in this episode, we are doing a pond survey. Stay with us.
Hi, this is Tim and Joel,
Welcome to Midwest Hunting and Outdoors by Two Dumbasses,
a podcast about the outdoors, hunting, and
and being a steward of the land. Welcome to Midwest Hunting and Outdoors by Two Dumbasses. Tim, we're talking pond survey. In fact, you've got some interest in this because it's your pond, right?
Yep.
Talk to me. What is a pond survey, and why did you choose to get one done?
Well, as I understood a pond surveys that come in, electrofish, get a good population of what's in your pond, and then what they'll do is also do water. I mean, again, this was my understanding. Do some water testing along with some topography of your pond, and then come back with some recommendations.
Okay.
That was my understanding.
And you've got a couple ponds here on the location. You had this done on one of them. What was the concern, or what drove you to consider a survey?
So at the time when I booked it, we were booking it for both ponds, and one of the ponds we had muskrats in there for sure. Plus, I still believe we had an otter in that, and I thought they'd cleared out my whole fishing population in that pond. And then the provider that I worked with, what he said he would do for me is, hey, we do a 2-for-1. We do 2 surveys for the price of one. And then due to some, that other pond ended up having a pond leak, not from the muskrats, but we were only able to do one pond survey. So it was no longer the 2-for-1.
Yeah. So I was here for I think you were on hiatus on the road that week, and I pitch hit for you here in the video. But why don't we take a look at that video right now and how they did that? I mean, they literally came in with a boat, and they're setting up electric generators, and they're shocking fish and catching them and stuff like that. So we got some great video of that. Let's take a look.
That sounds great.
Carter, what are we up to today?
Yeah, we're doing a electrofishing survey today on a pond, which is a population assessment to inform management for the landowner, whether that's stocking or culling, things like that.
Okay, and then what is that? We got a boat here,
Yep.
but what do you have in the boat? What does that look
Yep,
like?
we use an electroshocking boat in which we deploy booms, which attach to electrodes, which puts out electrical currents in the water, stuns the fish, in which we are able to net them, and then we take measurements of length and weight, and then we use that to assess, what the population looks like, what their weights are like, and then go from there on management.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean it's kind of hardcore. You've got a generator in there generating electricity.
Yeah,
right?
the generator's a little noisy. It's a pretty good rig we got, and I think it does the trick on getting a good population assessment survey of ponds.
And then Landon, you're the catch guy, at least today anyway. So what does that entail?
Pretty much you just try and go get the fish when they get stunned. You see them kind of rise to the surface, sometimes up way to the surface where you can just skim the water, or sometimes you got to go pretty deep to try and get them. Try and get as many as you can. Miss as least amount as possible, even the small ones. Try and catch every fish possible.
Yeah, you did a good job between the both of you. I saw even Carter pull out the net a couple times.
Yep,
today,
sometimes
so.
they squeak back to me.
So I'm assuming the electricity is just kind of just a stunner, right? And
Yep.
doesn't really, there's no long-term effect to the fish.
Kind of like a taser, more or
They
less.
they'll get stunned for a little bit, and then we see them in the tank. They recover, come back to normal, and then we just release them back to where they are.
Awesome. And I know you'll follow up with Tim on this, and we'll follow up with that in the podcast, but what does kind of like the final product of the survey look like? I saw you taking some notes, and you guys were weighing them and measuring them. And
Yep, so our biologist, which is the owner and CEO of I will go through and he'll analyze the data and kind of provide a general assessment to Tim, which if he wishes, it'll be in a report form. Sometimes we can do like a general, here's what we have found, but typically it'll be a report form with some pictures that we took today and then future recommendations.
Yeah, awesome. You want to go on record and forecast what the report's going to look like?
Oh, I could not give you a formal analysis of what I think the report will entail.
Smart man, right?
As
Smart
a
man.
scientific
There's
realm,
only downside in that guess.
can't give you straight up answers in the scientific realm.
But just roughly, you know, pond's good shape, bad shape, so-so, what?
You know, I think we're doing all right. The water was a bit murky, but I didn't see a reason to be concerned.
Okay.
Then again, I am not the expert here.
I get it. I won't hold you accountable for it, but we'll, that's good, because Tim's going to call me tonight because he's on the road. That's why I'm doing the interview here. And I can say, hey, you know, I think it's going to be okay. But, cool. Did I miss anything, guys? Is there anything, you know, from a...
I think we got it covered.
Pretty much it.
I think you gave the channel a good brief review of what goes on with electrofishing surveys.
All right, two young gentlemen there with a fun job to do that. A lot of setup and a lot of takedown, but it was cool watching them work. What were the results from the survey that you got from them?
So I ended up having to reach out to the provider. I'm going to leave their names out, and because I hadn't gotten the results, and he had ended up sending it to my old address. And so once I got the results, he basically sent me these, I'm going to call them check sheets, if you will, from when they did the survey. They weren't able to do both ponds, like I said, because they just couldn't get the boat in. They went in and did the survey on the other pond, and but once I got those sheets, I would say there's no way to interpret them. I don't know how to interpret them. And so I reached out to the service provider, and he gave me a little clip of a text, and that was my explanation. And then he basically said if I wanted more, that they could put it into a written report, but it was basically going to be the same thing. So he was actually discouraging me from doing the report. No water testing, no topography. Now, the topography, I already know the pond because it's only 4 years old, but I was disappointed.
Yeah, sounds like it. Sounds like time to go to another vendor.
Yeah, we're done.
Yeah. What was the takeaway? I know you got the raw data, which we'll include here, just an example of that. But I know you had a few words from them. What were the corrective actions that they recommend, and then what are you considering to improve upon?
So I've gotten conflicting information from different providers. So his recommendation was the bass population was thin. There was plenty of forage, meaning lots of small fish in the pond. So they're clearly repopulating, but does not sound like there's enough of a food supply and for the size of the pond, and the fish are having to work hard to go find it. So he recommended. Now I added a lot of ad lib. He didn't add nearly that context. But what I ended up saying is, hey, we need more structure in the pond. And then he also suggested putting minnows in the pond. But now I've had conflicting information that minnows are bad, and that you could be introducing bullheads into the population through those. So I don't know what I'm going to do on that just yet.
Okay. So the conclusion is out for you as far as what next steps. Structure is probably makes sense,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's other than I know you've got a pallet stack set in there on one end, but could certainly add structure to that and not impede anything really.
I certainly could.
Yeah. Now it's a matter of the food source piece.
Yeah.
But like again, I was there when they were shocking these, and you'll see it in the video. Is they didn't have any issues of netting fish. They didn't catch any catfish, but I honestly didn't expect them to, because my guess is the catfish were like deep. And that pond's
25
feet deep at the deepest. And it looked to me like those little electric probe things really only shocked, maybe a foot or two from, because everything was coming up by the shore when they got shallow with it. So interesting. But okay, more to come on this, huh?
More to come.
Okay. Well, if you got folks, you got questions or advice, I think, don't let me put words in my mouth, Tim, but I mean, we're open to hear, pond rescue at its best here.
Yeah, I have that other pond. We're probably going to drain it and reconstruct it.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think it's safe to say, Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, but this pond's it's healthy.
It's healthy.
It's healthy. It's just new.
Yep.
And you just want to make sure you're doing the right things moving forward, that it stays healthy, right?
Yeah, and then just to let you guys all know what's in there, I put in 3 different kinds of bluegills. So regular bluegills, hybrids, plus shell crackers. Some people call them red deer. There's bass. There is grass carp. And then there's also catfish, 2 different types of catfish.
Whiskered walleye.
Yeah.
Whiskered walleye. And we've caught and harvested some
cats.
Some cats, right? We've eaten some, right?
Yeah, they are definitely not on the thin side.
They have no problem finding food.
Yep.
Yeah. So
You're
cool.
definitely a predator.
But if you got any advice, we'd love to hear from you at Two Dumbass comments down below, or email here on ponds. There's a lot of ponds out there. So anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Till next time,
Be safe,
have fun, and get outdoors.
Thanks for listening or watching our show. We have some exciting topics and guests coming up.
We ask that you subscribe to our channel on YouTube and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
We look forward to hearing your suggestions for topics.
Questions and comments. This is Two Dumbasses signing off. Until next time,
Be safe,
have fun, and get
outdoors.
outdoors.